When you think of Zeus, you probably picture a mighty god sitting on a golden throne, wielding a thunderbolt and ruling the heavens with unchallenged authority. But behind the glitz and glory of Mount Olympus lies a story of struggle, betrayal, and immense pressure. Being born as Zeus wasn't just a gift of divine power. It was a cursed existence that demanded resilience, cunning, and an unrelenting fight for survival. So, why does it suck to be born as Zeus? Let's start at the beginning. Zeus's life began not with celebration, but with terror. His father, Cronus, was no doting parent. As king of the Titans, Cronus was so paranoid about losing his throne that he made a horrific decision. He swallowed his children whole the moment they were born. Zeus's siblings, Hestia, Hera, Demeter, Hades, and Poseidon, were trapped in his stomach, alive, conscious, and helpless. But Zeus was spared, thanks to his mother, Rhea's desperate cunning. She tricked Cronus by giving him a stone wrapped in swaddling clothes instead of the newborn. Zeus was whisked away to a secret cave on Crete, where he was raised by nymphs and the goat Amalthea. Sounds idyllic, right? Think again. Growing up in hiding meant that Zeus had to fend for himself. Imagine being a child, knowing that if your father found you, he'd devour you like he did your siblings. Every moment was a test of survival, and every shadow could have been a Titan's spy. Zeus's childhood wasn't filled with games and laughter. It was a constant battle against fear and loneliness. Zeus grew up fast. He didn't have the luxury of being a child for long, and he knew that to save his siblings and claim his place in the cosmos, he'd need to overthrow Cronus. This brings us to the next point, the enormous responsibility thrust upon Zeus. Imagine being a young adult, barely out of hiding, and having to rally an army to overthrow the most powerful being in existence. Zeus didn't inherit a throne. He had to earn it by waging a brutal decade-long war known as the Titanomachy. His allies included his siblings, whom he freed from Cronus' stomach, and the Cyclopes, who forged his signature weapon, the Thunderbolt. The war was grueling, with countless casualties on both sides. Zeus's victory wasn't guaranteed, and every battle pushed him to his physical and mental limits. Yet, through strategy and sheer determination, he managed to defeat Cronus and the Titans, banishing them to Tartarus. You might think the hard part was over once Zeus claimed the throne, but ruling the cosmos turned out to be a thankless and exhausting job. As the king of the gods, Zeus had to mediate endless disputes among immortals, mortals, and everyone in between, from petty squabbles to full-blown wars. He was constantly putting out fires, sometimes literally. On top of that, Zeus's personal life was a disaster. Despite his immense power, he struggled to maintain control over his own desires. His numerous affairs led to countless illegitimate children, many of whom brought chaos into the world. Think Hercules, Perseus, and Helen of Troy. Each was a walking, talking reminder of Zeus's inability to avoid drama. And let's not forget the constant paranoia. Just like Cronus, Zeus lived in fear of being overthrown. He'd seen it happen before. Uranus was overthrown by Cronus, and Cronus by Zeus. The cycle of betrayal haunted him, making it impossible to trust anyone fully, not even his own family. Even his relationships with mortals were complicated. While they worshipped him, they also blamed him for natural disasters, misfortunes, and the whims of fate. Zeus was both revered and resented, a god who carried the weight of the world's expectations on his shoulders. His fellow gods weren't exactly a team of cooperative subordinates. Zeus often had to deal with rebellion, jealousy, and outright disobedience from his own family. Hera, his wife and queen, was a constant source of tension due to his infidelities, often plotting revenge against him and his lovers. Ares' thirst for war, and Aphrodite's meddling in mortal affairs frequently dragged Zeus into conflicts he didn't want to handle. Olympus, the supposed pinnacle of order, was often a dysfunctional family circus. Zeus's troubles didn't end with internal disputes. External threats loomed large, too. The giants, led by the terrifying Typhon, were a constant reminder that his throne was never truly secure. The battle with Typhon pushed Zeus to his limits, requiring every ounce of his strength and cunning to emerge victorious. It was a stark reminder that even the king of the gods wasn't invincible. Perhaps the greatest tragedy of Zeus's existence was his isolation. Despite his power, he couldn't form genuine, lasting connections. Mortals feared and revered him, but their lives were fleeting. The gods respected him, but often resented his authority. His own family was a source of constant betrayal and scheming. In the end, Zeus was a king without without peace, a god burdened by the weight of his own dominion. And while Zeus's struggles might seem unique to a god, they mirror the challenges faced by many leaders in human history. Power often isolates. The pressure to make the right decisions, the fear of betrayal, and the weight of responsibility can take a toll on anyone, mortal or immortal. Zeus's story is a mythic exaggeration of a very human truth. Leadership is lonely, and power comes with a price. Even in his triumphs, Zeus's life was a constant balancing act. His role as the god of justice meant he had to uphold cosmic order. But what exactly was fair? Should he favor the gods over mortals? Could he ever truly be impartial when his own family was involved in every major conflict? The burden of making these decisions weighed heavily on him, as the wrong choice could lead to chaos across the heavens and earth. Consider, too, the expectations placed on Zeus as a father. His divine offspring weren't just children. They were symbols of power and status. Each child brought new challenges and rivalries, further complicating his relationships with Hera and the other gods. And when those children, like Hercules or Athena, went on to achieve their own fame, Zeus's pride often mixed with jealousy, reminding him that even gods must contend with their legacy. Beyond the internal strife, Zeus faced the growing complexity of mortal civilizations. As humans advanced, their prayers and demands grew more intricate. They expected Zeus to be not only a protector, but also a judge, a provider, and a source of inspiration. Balancing the needs of mortals with those of the gods made his role all the more exhausting, as he tried to satisfy beings on both sides of the divine divide. And yet, for all his flaws, Zeus remained a symbol of resilience. Despite betrayals, wars, and personal failings, he continued to rule and maintain order. His endurance reminds us that strength isn't about perfection. It's about persevering through adversity, no matter how insurmountable it seems. So, yes, Zeus was powerful. He was the king of gods, the wielder of thunder, and the ruler of the cosmos. But behind the grandeur was a life shaped by trauma, burdened by responsibility, and riddled with loneliness. Being born as Zeus might sound like the ultimate privilege, but in reality, it was a heavy crown to bear. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below.